welcome everyone. I'd really like to welcome all of you to our virtual Open Day 2026. This is a really exciting session for us, and we really look forward to this. There's always a buzz around Learner internally when this comes up, because for us, it's a really big opportunity to speak to you all. Whether you're joining us from the UK or internationally, we really want to offer you some really good advice and really give you some answers to some questions you may well have about what it is that Learna provide, but also who we work with, whether that's our universities or our subject matter experts, as well as our internal teams that really do a phenomenal job at facilitating your journey on your educational journey. What I think would be really helpful is to give you an overview as to what this session is going to include and what you're likely to expect in the structure of it. So for me, I'd like to tell you a little bit about Learna. What you're likely to hear during the course of this afternoon is around our partnering UK universities and our validation processes, have some insights from our program directors who are our subject matter experts and the authorities in the clinical areas. You'll also hear from our admissions and our student support team. You'll have an opportunity to have a live demonstration of the actual platform on which you'll learn. And there is a real opportunity for you to ask questions live on the chat function. And we have some incredible people in the background there really to support and answer your questions in real time. So please do make a real effort to ask any questions that you want, and they will be answered in real time for you. At the end of the session, there'll be a feedback form. It'd be really helpful for us if you were able to answer the questions on that feedback form, because for those of you that are joining us live, it will give you an opportunity to enter a £500 tuition fee prize draw for an eligible September 2026 programme. So that'll be really useful for you. So, Learna, let me tell you a little bit about Learna. So, Learna was conceptualized and it was introduced into the market 16 years ago. So we have a 16-year history, therefore, and a pedigree in providing postgraduate medical education to a global audience of healthcare professionals. And I make no apologies about making a really big deal of that, because we're really proud of the fact that we're able to offer a really wide range of programs to a really wide range of healthcare professionals. It is literally in our DNA to improve to improve global healthcare through medical education. By background, I am a GP, and I know the importance of continually improving my own education, helping my peers in their education, as well as helping the healthcare professionals of tomorrow. One of my previous roles was as a GP trainer, and so I would train GPs coming through the system, and I also appraise GPs, and I hear all the time about how doctors and nurses and pharmacists are trying to keep up to date with their continual professional development. And what we do at Learna is we wrap all of that up, we facilitate people's learning, and we offer them a postgraduate level degree award qualification at the end of that. Part of our KPIs, and one of our KPIs is student satisfaction. We're really keen to ensure that students have an incredible experience with us, that they learn what they need to learn. And another really important KPI for us, a key performance indicator, is clinical impact score. And I kind of just want to hone in on this a little bit, because we're not teaching so that people get a qualification. We're teaching so that people get a qualification. They almost learn how to learn, and how to continually learn when you don't have the answers. How do you look up the answers? How do you ask peers about the answers? But also, is that implementable on a Monday morning? So what we really want to do is for these awards, number one, to help with your career progression, but number two, to help you serve your patients. And that's kind of why we exist at Learna, and that's really important for you to know. We work with 2 UK universities. And I think it's really important that you know that is, for us, we're held to the highest standards. We have huge, robust mechanisms that we have to go through in order to have our programs validated, and for the universities to have that layer of trust so that they can award the degree. So we offer the education, but we work really closely in partnership with the 2 universities who you will hear from. And they maintain the academic standards, and they have that that wrapper of that degree which you're looking for. We offer flexible online learning, which is recognized by the UK universities. So for us, and again, being a healthcare professional personally, but also having a family, a young family at home, I really do understand the nuances about the time commitment that we need to give. You know, working really hard shifts, really long shifts, wherever you are in the world, is really tough. And it's a really demanding job being in healthcare, because we're working really hard and we can't make any mistakes, and you know, it's tough. And then we go home, and then we've got a personal life at home. And so what we've done with our programs, if we've understood that, we're developing programs for healthcare professionals that are developed and delivered by healthcare professionals who are equally busy professionally and personally. So we understand how tough life is, and where our programs are deliberately delivered and designed with that in mind. Okay. The other thing that's really important to note about our programs is what we've done is, on our platform, is we take global healthcare professionals, be it doctors, be it nurses, be it pharmacists, be it physiotherapists, and all other allied healthcare professionals. We bring them onto one platform. And there is a massive strength in doing that, because what everyone does is they contribute to and they take value from the programs, each individual. So it might be a nurse, for example, says something which I as a GP take away, and I'm able to add value to. So we bring a global student base as well as an MDT student base onto our platform. Because of that, what I'd like you to do in the chat, if it's okay, is please tell us, let's make this interactive. Please tell us who you are, where you're from, and what you do. Let's make this interactive. Start putting that in the chat, and let's start a conversation going. That'd be really helpful if you're happy to do so. What I'd like to do is get you to hear from our 2 UK university partners. And we're going to start with the University of South Wales, and then we'll go to the University of Buckingham, if that's okay. So what I'd like to do now is introduce a really key person from the University of South Wales. I'd like to introduce Dr. Carl New. Carl New has been with Learna, would you believe, from our conception. He's been there from the absolute very start. It's a really trusted partnership we've got. So Carl will tell you from his perspective if it is, but we've worked really closely with the University of South Wales, and I'd love to introduce Dr. Carl New, who will discuss how the partnership works. Carl, over to you.
Thanks, Anish. Welcome, everybody, to extend Anish's welcome. Delighted to have you join online and your interest in the course. Yep, thanks, Anish. It's been a privilege to see the partnership and the number of programs develop. So as Anish said, obviously I work at the university in an academic role, active researcher, PhD supervisor, teach on-campus students, but also supervise this portfolio of courses that USW and Learna have in partnership. I'll get on to, and Anish touched upon elements of the strength of you also having a UK degree behind the course and the university validating the courses you do. But over those 16 years, as Anish said, we've gone from one course to the expansive program and the specialities you can see now. And I'm sure there's interest across all of those that we hold in partnership with Learna. So it's important, you know, and a consideration of online study is, as Anish touched upon, you know, how has that course been developed? What's the standards around that? Well, it's equal to any other degree that the university would offer. So you join the postgraduate community at USW. We have 3 campuses for on-campus students across South Wales, from Cardiff to Newport to Pontypridd, slightly just north of Cardiff. But this is a significant part of our online presence and our online portfolio. And as I said, I've seen the growth of that and worked with the team here, expansive team at Learna to develop those courses. So every course has to go through, as you would expect from a UK higher education university, process to validate that course, to assess the academic integrity, how it aligns to the subject specialism, how it prepares you. As Anish touched upon, you know, there's some unique and a tried and tested and very successful formula to the way the Learna programs are run, and the validation oversees that. So we have a long-term partnership and experience in developing that. The partnership itself is continually assessed, you know, the success of the partnership across a variety of areas, to that student success and the overall success of it. So it's a real flagship partnership for the University of South Wales. And I said, delighted to have been part of it from the very start. So the value of studying with the process within that and studying on the course is that you are a University of South Wales student. So you, if of course, as an international student studying online, for all the flexibility that arises, you may never come to a campus, but it doesn't mean you are absolutely a full member of the University of South Wales as well. You are learner, so you get that dual aspect of that. Obviously, your daily contact, your interaction online is with your learner tutors, but they have to, the tutors are assessed, not only a learner managing the process of that, but the university is ratifying the standards and the set process that the tutors need to demonstrate that they can deliver and teach both the subject specialism and at the required level, postgraduate study. So you get that dual aspect of being both a university student and a collaborative partner, as we call it, a partner student with Learna, and all the benefits that brings. Academic quality and standards, Anish touched upon that quite correctly. You know, there is a robust process, a cycle, it never stops. So we annually, Learna themselves, module by module, as you progress, still monitor the success and the quality process of the delivery of the modules, and that feeds into our overall university process. So it is a highly regulated, robust system in terms of making sure currency of the content. You know, you'd expect, of course, we started 16 years ago with the one course. Titles still remain, but as you all know, as allied health professionals, medical professionals, you know, currency moves on, standards, guidelines moves on, and the curriculum needs to keep pace with that. So there is a very large, you know, a big process that goes on in the background between both the university systems and support systems and plus your kind of learner delivery support students. So yes, your daily contact, quite rightly, on the partnership, and where you'll go in to get your material and your interaction on the platform. And as Anish said, you're going to have a demonstration of that platform. But behind the scenes, both student support, you know, you get dual purpose, initial student support through Learna, but the Learna student support teams are then integrated in with your university support teams as well. So to expect from successful completion, okay, well, of course, we want all of our students to progress and move through that process. You have the support mechanisms, again, from USW and Learna in the first instance for that. But the kind of end point of that is obviously, and some of you, we welcome all of you too, is to travel over and go through. You get your university certification and a specific graduation ceremony for our students. That's a highlight of the year for Learna colleagues and myself to be on the stage stage and see you cross that stage and collect your certification. So everything you expect as a university student in the UK is there in this partnership, but as Anish said, delivered in a very innovative, highly flexible way through online distance learning to do that. But please always consider yourself part of the USW community if you're on a USW Learner course, as well as the Learner community as well. New program content, as I said, currency for that is through the process that we do that. So courses are continually refreshed, as I mentioned previously, and maintained through that. You have your subject specialists as your course directors. You have your individual module specialists and specialists in subspeciality content of their delivering to you, and all of those processes are assessed, ratified and checked, and my role linking with the Learner team here to do that. So delighted to see you here today, delighted for your interest in the courses. I can't wait to welcome you virtually. I am involved with some of the programs as well at a tutoring and at an individual level, so I hope to see you progress through and on the program, and ultimately to the end stage in the graduation ceremony, where you see me looking a little bit different than I am now, but gowned up in the academic process, and then celebrating your success with you. So thanks again to Learna and to Anish and the team, and I'll hand back to Anish. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Carl. That's really helpful. So, as everyone can see, we've got some really robust processes to ensure, in summary, that that the courses and the programs are academically robust. They talk to the level 7 academic standards required from a UK university. However, they're equally clinically focused, but we need both. We need, the academic rigor to ensure that you come out with an MSc, but also I know from a healthcare professional perspective, what we're after is clinical education that matters on the ground. So we've managed through this partnership to merge both of those together, and we've been with the University of South Wales for a very, very long time. As I suggested, we've got 2 UK university partners, and while the University of South Wales is our first partner, we have another partner that's really important to us too, and that's the University of Buckingham. So just like we've heard from the University of South Wales, we have someone from the University of Buckingham who is Jake Piper. Jake is our collaborations coordinator at the University of Buckingham. So I'd like to invite Jake to tell you a little bit from his perspective on the university partnership and how that kind of mechanism works in real time. Jake, over to you.
Very much indeed, and it's a pleasure to be here for the first time at a Learner Open Day. I've been working with Learner myself for around 2 years now, but the partnership has been around for 5 years, and I'm quite excited to tell you the amount of stuff we've done in that time. 5 years is less than the University of South Wales, but I'm quite excited that we have up to 20 programs now with Learner, and we've certainly made the most of our time. So yeah, I'm Jake and I work in the collaborations department at the University of Buckingham, and my job is basically to oversee partnerships like Learner. So I'm the kind of day-to-day liaison between Learner and the University of Buckingham. So my job today is basically to tell you what a Buckingham validated program actually means. And essentially, my role and our department's role is to ensure that programs continue to meet university standards throughout the whole partnership. So you're going to be hearing this word validation a lot. So what does that actually mean? In practice, it means that your teaching and student support is fully delivered by Learner. They have a great team fully dedicated to you. The difference being that the award you get at the end of the program is awarded by the University of Buckingham or South Wales if you study a South Wales program. And this basically means that the university has independently reviewed this program before approving it. But an important distinction is that it's not a one-off approval validation. This is a continuous oversight. So validation is essentially the university's assurance that what you're studying meets the same expectations that we would have from any internal program at Buckingham carrying our own name. So This involves reviewing the program's curriculum, make sure all the content is good, the learning outcomes, making sure you're learning what you should be. The assessments, are the assessments testing the right things? The regulations, so the student support mechanisms. We even meet with students occasionally to see how everything is, and it's always really good, which is glad to hear. And also, of course, quality assurance. So why study a UOB validated qualification or any qualification at Learner? The key thing really, I think, is confidence and credibility in the qualification that you have. So you can be assured that it's backed by UK higher education regulations, which I'm sure you know are some of the toughest in the world to uphold the name of a British degree. So you would get a UK University Award, which is recognized for its academic rigor, but you also get the flexibility of learning online with Learner, with awards that are dedicated to healthcare professionals like yourselves. So you're getting the flexibility of an online specialist alongside the assurance that your degree has been, scrutinized and awarded by an established and well-known UK university, which appears on your certificate. So how is that quality maintained? Basically, like I've talked about, validation before approval. This is where a bunch of different people meet and make sure this program is good and should be, be able to be studied by you and it's useful in the real world. We also monitor annually, Learner. So every year we all meet and discuss what's going well, what could be improved, what the different feedback is. So it's a constant cycle of improvement. We also have a big review every 5 years, make sure that the last 5 years has been good, which we did recently and had excellent feedback. This includes people internally, but also externally. So it's not just us being happy with the partnership, it's people from outside the partnership. Different universities have given us the thumbs up, basically saying, we're really happy with this partnership and you're doing some good stuff here. And we also meet for other behind the scenes things like assessment boards. We get your student feedback, the regulations, but this is all background stuff, basically just assuring what you're getting is a quality degree, whether you study it at Learner or at Buckingham or South Wales as well. Both, reputable UK degree awarders. So quality isn't simply assumed when we do this. We don't just validate a program and say, great, and walk away. We keep looking at it, keep making sure it's up to date and making sure it's, the outcomes and the academic standards are up to date. And this kind of demonstrates that robustness that we have in the partnership. And one very nice thing that you can get at the end of the program, so obviously it's a flexible degree, it's online, but we love to meet you at the end of it. We have graduation every year, and we've welcomed lots and lots of Learner students in recent years to Buckingham itself. So you will get invited to graduate in Buckingham, which is a beautiful market town in Buckinghamshire in England. You need help with your visas, you need help with making sure you can get here on time, you can message us and we'll make sure you have the best chance of getting here to graduate in person. And it's a lovely event. We just had it a few weeks ago, actually. And it's great to have all the Learner staff together, all the Buckingham staff, and you, the students, where we finally get to meet you face to face to celebrate your achievements, meet your graduates you'll have been talking with on the course, and just celebrate your recognition. You've worked hard to get this, so you've studied online, and this is just a chance to celebrate in person as part of the community. So in summary, let's acknowledge that studying while working can be challenging, and especially with you being in healthcare professionals, which already I imagine have demanding careers. So these programs have been designed around that reality and verified by us at Buckingham. So if you choose to study with Learner on a Buckingham validated program, you're essentially choosing a qualification that combines that flexibility around of a program based around you working as a healthcare professional with the academic rigor that we're known for at Buckingham. So our role at the university essentially is to ensure that the standards behind your qualification remain robust from the day you start until the day that we welcome you in Buckingham to graduate. Thank you very much, and that's me from Buckingham. Thanks, Anish.
Thank you so much, Jake. That was really helpful. And I kind of just want to make that point again, and about the graduation. It's a really, really good event, guys. So, and I, well, personally, as a healthcare professional, when I kind of attain something, it is really nice. But equally, I want to make the point of really important to take a moment to actually celebrate the wins. Because Carl said it, Jake said it. Everyone recognizes, where that healthcare professionals work really hard. It's a really tough job. It's really demanding. I'm not saying other jobs aren't, by the way, but it is a really tough job, and often, and I don't know if any of you are like me, it's on to the next, and it's on to the next, and it's the next horizon, and we just kind of, for me, it was kind of, I finished med school and I was on to F1 and F2, and then I was on to GP training, and then I needed to pass my exams, and then I needed to do this, and then I needed to do that, and then often you kind of look back sort of 10 years, and you've got all these accolades, and so you've got some letters after your name, but you never really took the time to just go somewhere and appreciate the time you've put in, the effort you've put in. And honestly speaking, it's really important to spend that time celebrating the wins, but also with the people that are really close to you that I suspect, and this is only through not my personal experience, but talking to loads of people at graduation ceremonies, the loads of sacrifices that those really closely around you have had to make, not just you've made, but other people have made, in order for us to spend the time on these types of programs. It is work, and it's in addition to what you're normally doing. Yes, it's flexible. Yes, we facilitate. Yes, we support it, and yes, we ensure people get through to the end, because that's what matters to us. But really important to celebrate. So, and I make no apologies for making a little bit of a play on this. Is I know when I haven't, and my family have sacrificed a lot to enable me to spend the time to do programs like this. So please kind of take that on board. That's really important. That was really helpful, and hopefully that's given you an understanding of how our partnerships with our UK universities really, really work, and hopefully that's kind of put that importance on the robustness that we need to go through to ensure what we're putting in front of you and how we're delivering these programs are really tight knit. So you are getting an incredible education from people who are subject matter experts in the space. So, as I kind of said at the beginning, our programs are developed and they are delivered by subject matter experts, and that's really important for you to know. Is we understand that healthcare professionals need to be taught correctly, that the things that sit in front of them are really valuable to them. And we therefore work with subject matter experts to ensure the clinical currency of it, to ensure the academic robustness of it. And so we have what we call program directors. They are intrinsically part of our faculty. So whilst they don't sit in our office with us, they are very much thought of as really important figures of Learna, and there's no question about that. And I'm really, really pleased to welcome Dr. Claire Holt, who is one of our program directors. She's our program director for leadership in healthcare, which is at this stage, one of the 55 programs that we offer. Dr. Claire Holt has been with us for a very long time. She's very well versed in what students want to know, what they need to know, and what resonates with them. And I'm really pleased to have Dr. Holt, who will discuss how postgraduate level study can really support career development, and it can really fit around our busy professional and personal commitments. Dr. Holt, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anish. Thank you for that very kind introduction. Sorry, my camera will catch up in a minute, and hopefully you'll be there we go. There I am. Welcome everybody. And also, being an academic, I do like to count things and to take note of detail. And I'm absolutely amazed to say that when you were all introducing yourselves, I lost count of the specialities and the backgrounds that you all have, but I can say that we've got over 26 countries joining us today. So when we say that our programs are international, can I just welcome each and every one of you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. And Learna, I think I should. Is there any budget for me to visit some of these countries? Some of these countries are certainly places on my travel to-do list. So welcome again to all of you. So yes, as Anish said, I've been working with the program for quite a few years since the Masters and Postgraduate Diploma in Leadership in Healthcare started. I was the original program director, and I'm delighted to still be the program director for that course. I'm also the program director for the University of Buckingham Executive MBA in Healthcare Management as well. So it's an absolute pleasure to be associated with both the University of South Wales with the Leadership in Healthcare program and the Healthcare Management program, and indirectly via Learna. So yes, how can a Master's Level 7 postgraduate diploma, postgraduate qualification help and assist you? Well, Anish is absolutely right. It certainly helps you in terms of the next step in your careers and achieving those management or even senior leadership roles. And the reason why they do that is for many, many different reasons. One of the big ones for me, and my amount of time working in higher education for the last 15, 16 years, for also other academic institutions, is it gives you that articulation of voice. The theories, the concepts, the frameworks, the models that we help you learn and think about and critically think about, I think critical analysis is one of the main points here, is they help provide you with a toolbox to be able to be more eloquent and articulate in your places of work. And that is especially the case in roles of leadership and management, when it's about influencing. It's about a sphere of influence, influencing your peers and work colleagues, those that you work with in your teams, but also influencing upwards and working with more senior leaders in your organizations. And of course, as we're recognizing in healthcare globally, it's not just about working within your own departments and specialisms, but it's also working as part of integrated care, multidisciplinary teams, working across boundaries and keeping those patients as your focus. With the Leadership in Healthcare course, one thing that we delight in is that it's not just about clinicians. We also have a lot of non-clinical people joining the program. And that mix is something that all of the Learner programs is very, very proud to offer to all of you. It's that mix of disciplines and backgrounds, that mix of different grades and bandings. And therefore, what it does is it really helps you with looking at things from different perspectives in organizations, whether they be clinical perspectives or those non-clinical perspectives. So going back to what we offer on our programs, I call it a toolbox. What all these models and concepts and frameworks do is they give you a toolbox of ideas and different approaches to make sense of the realities that you're working in, to help you be critical thinkers, not just accepting the status quo on occasion. And by applying these to your practice, they also help you work, as I said, more collaboratively with your peers, to learn from each other and to be able to more effectively communicate. The other thing that these programs offer you is the international perspective. So what tends to happen is when we work in our own countries and our own cultures, we tend to take things for face value. But one of the things all the Learner programs offer you, and one of the things that all the tutors encourage, is that cross-learning. That recognition that the way things are done, maybe, let's say, to name one of the countries that I know has joined us today, someone working in Zimbabwe versus someone who maybe is working in Canada or Venezuela. It brings in the different perspectives and the different approaches. And these theories, these models, these frameworks that we introduce to you through the learning on the platform all help you think and learn from each other. But there's something I also want to add here about tutors. Some of your tutors will be academics, like myself, but a lot of your tutors will also be practitioners. And therefore, as tutors, we're not just here to help you learn, you also help us learn. You help keep us on our toes about what it is really like going on and what it's really like going on at the sharp end of these different specialities and areas of expertise that you all hold. So this mix of backgrounds is very, very rich from the tutor perspective, from the content perspective, but also from all of you joining the programs. Something else I just want to pick up on, which I know that I think Jake touched on, Anish. What I just want to pick up on is it's not easy doing a master's or a postgraduate diploma or an MBA. It's not meant to be easy because if it was, everyone would be doing it. But what we try to do at Learner is make it as accessible and as workable as possible. Hence why the asynchronous approach to the learning, where you can basically tap in and tap out using the app on the phone or using the platform on the laptops or iPads to look at what the scenarios and tasks that are being posted each week, and also have those discussions, critical thinking discussions in a lot of cases with your peers, as well as those practical applications and examples. So although it's not easy, and it isn't easy balancing full-time jobs, families, personal lives, whether you've got hobbies and other interests outside of work with a full-time, with higher education learning as well. But one thing that I always remind students is it's temporary. It's a temporary 6 months, 12 months, or 18 months if you're doing the masters. It's just temporary. And in the long run, it's worth it. It's worth it for you to be better clinicians, better non-clinicians if you're more on the side of management and leadership, but it also makes you better colleagues. And it also helps you think more critically and analytically for being more creative and innovative and influencing in your work roles. So no, it's not easy. But one thing that Learner does have is they have an excellent student services support team, as well as the great tutors who are all there to support you in your learning journey and to help you achieve, and hopefully, although I appreciate it's long distance for some of you, to actually come along and join us at one of the graduation ceremonies at the University of Birmingham or the University of South Wales. So that long distance obviously does make it quite challenging for some of you when it comes to networking with some of your peers. But that's where, as tutors, we encourage you to set up group discussions, whether that's through WhatsApp or to meet regularly through either Zoom, Google Meet, Microsoft Teams. So there are plenty of opportunities for you to work with your peers and other students as well. So thank you for joining us today. I hope that some of you are considering the leadership in healthcare or the MBA in healthcare management. If you are, you'll probably come across me as your tutor. If you're looking at one of the clinical programs, best of luck. Best of luck to all of you, and I'm sure you will get so much out of your education journey on one of the Learner programs. Thank you, Anish.
Thank you so much, Dr. Holt. That's really, really helpful. And I kind of just want to pick up on a couple of points here, because it's been mentioned, and I think for me, there's the point about career progression. So, you know, a lot of people will sort of say, look, why would we do this program? So I think there's many reasons. I think, you know, what we hear is we hear stories of people that want to upskill because they need a deeper knowledge base, and a program like this not only, and I think this is really important, guys, not only acts as continuing professional development. I think the other benefit is it's robust in the way it assesses people. And so a lot of people, you know, Dr. Holt just said this, it is a difficult program. Let's make no, you know, let's not be kind of, let's lean into this. Is it difficult? There's different modes of assessment. Do you know what I hear at graduation more often than not is, it was tough, but I'm glad it was, because if it hadn't been, if the scrutiny hadn't been, oh, A, B, C, and D, then actually I don't think I'd be better off. So, you know, there's a lot of points of assessment, or an appropriate amount of points of assessment, but everyone says at graduation, okay, it was difficult, but I enjoyed it. I was facilitated by my tutor through it. The support team at Learna were formidable. They were absolutely phenomenal at helping me get through the program. The amount I've got of that peer-to-peer interaction has been utterly invaluable. And it's not just peer-to-peer interaction, it's actually networking opportunities, because remember, you sit on a WhatsApp community with like-minded professionals globally. And so, you know, the amount that comes through that is really important because you can keep in touch with people globally. I think that's really important too. So there's a lot that people get from it. And at the end of it all, it's a postnominal. It's a degree award that you're awarded for doing continual professional development as a GP. I'm continually engaging in continual professional development in order to get my annual appraisals and my 5-yearly revalidations as a healthcare professional. But what we're doing is we're saying, you're doing this CPD, you're learning, let's facilitate that for you, let's deepen that, let's assess you along the way, let's give you a post-nominal, and let's also give you interactions with peers globally that you can then utilize on a global scale after the program is finished. So I hope that sort of narrative was really helpful. I think the other thing that's really important in all of this is, yes, okay, it can be career enhancing, it can be career progressive, as people are looking to diversify sometimes their portfolio within their career. This is an enabler of that. The other point I really want to hone in on here is, you know, I'm based in Cardiff in South Wales in the UK, and some of you will be acutely aware of the increasing competition to get to enhance your career or to kind of move along your chosen career trajectory. I personally have many friends who, and this is just one example, just to highlight my point, is a lot of people are really interested in going into, for example, internal medicine, and it's really difficult to get in. So you know, you've got a motivation to become a consultant in an internal medicine specialty, and actually the route to get in is highly competitive. I think it's really important to note that as well as helping diversify your careers, helping with knowledge base, helping with career progression, it's equally important for career enabling, almost, for want of a better word. And internal medicine is highly competitive, and there are, on the recruitment speciality training website, these programs offer points along that journey. And so, you know, you're learning, you're getting a post-nominal, but also it's helping you potentially get into a specialty you're looking to get into. So just make that point as we're acutely aware of the bottlenecks in some of these areas, and our programs may enable you it might enable that for you. Guys, looking at the numbers, we've had at some points well over 100, some points 145 people on this call. Really grateful to be able to share some of this information with you, and hopefully what you're hearing is really encouraging for you. I'd like just to take a moment and introduce to you the programs that we're looking to launch this September. So September 2026. Next month, we are launching a postgraduate certificate in concierge medicine. I know a couple of people that work in this space, and what they say to me is, look, Anish, it's a great career. And the reason they say that is because it allows continuity. It allows people to go to people's homes and to continually develop that relationship that a lot of us are striving for having with our patients and their families. And so concierge medicine is around how to develop that type of service, what it involves, the service delivery of it. So lots packed into that postgraduate certificate, and that's in concierge medicine. And we have an introductory tuition fee reduction of £1,000 at the minute. And so that program is at the minute £1,500 instead of £2,500. We also have a postgraduate diploma as well as an MSc in cognitive behavioral therapy, so CBT. So those of you that might be in the space of mental health or want to upskill in CBT So obviously a type of talking therapy. We are launching a master's and a postgraduate diploma in that space. And for that, we equally have an introductory tuition fee reduction. So for the postgraduate diploma, which would normally be £5,800, that's at £4,800, so £1,000 off that price at the minute. And for the MSc, that would usually be £10,200 at the minute. That's £9,200. So just wanted to highlight an example of our expansion of our product and program portfolio. We're always looking at spaces to develop and extending our offering, and that does take into consideration our we ask our alumni and we also ask our faculty as to kind of what other programs can we introduce that would be value additive to a global audience. So there are two programs I wanted to talk to you about. More information is available on the website, or you can contact us at admissions@learna.ac.uk. So please do. Where are we in the grand scheme of things this afternoon? You've heard from our university partners. You've heard from the University of South Wales. You've heard from the University of Buckingham. You've also heard from one of our program directors. Just a little bit about our programs before I kind of transition this a little bit is, as you've already heard, we have various points of assessment, and that's on purpose. But they are all interlinked. And so, we have 4 points of assessment. We have an academic forum, which is that rich digital platform that allows you to bring evidence to support your answers, but also share your experiences around case-based learning. So we present people with really rich clinical cases on the whole, apart from a couple of programs that might not be appropriate, but on the whole, we present you with clinically rich cases, and then we ask you to share evidence and also to bring your own experiences to answer that. That is facilitated by a subject matter expert asynchronously on our programs. And so it doesn't require you, for example, to be available at 1 p.m. On a Monday afternoon, because that's 1 p.m. my time. We've got a global student base, and that would maybe eat into clinical time, or people might be operating, for example. So we purposefully don't have lectures at specific points. It's the whole reason we developed an asynchronous method to make it flexible for you. So that's our academic forum, which is usually worth 40% of the marks. We have a 10% of the marks attributed to a reflective journal. As a GP, I constantly reflect. I suspect all of you on this call will constantly reflect on what you're learning, how you're implementing it, how you implemented it, and because of all of this, how you now need to learn, or what you need to learn. Reflection for me, it pretty much is built into healthcare professionals. It literally has to be within our DNA to continually evolve what we're doing, bringing new evidence in and improving our practice. So it's what we do. What we're doing is saying, we know it's what you do. Let's give you a mark for it. So it's literally it's built into our assessment methodology because we know you're doing it anyway, or trying to help you and facilitate you to do it even better. But we mark you for it. And so we give you a mark for that. We have a end of module MCQ. So that's an exam where the questions will be built around the type of content that you'll be covering within that 6 weeks. So you'll learn lots of things within that module. And at the end, we have a timed MCQ as a measure of kind of what you've learned. And then we also have a module activity. A module activity for me is really exciting. It's where we develop or help develop your postgraduate skills. So, for example, it might be around designing a poster as if you're going to a conference. It might be around a quality improvement activity to improve the way you deal with diabetic patients in your setting, for example. It might be a narrated presentation, either to some of the public, or it might be to doctors, nurses, or healthcare professionals that are coming up. So how would you train someone in a topic, for example? The benefit of this is, if you've designed a poster, then you can go and present it. It's not, you're not just putting a load of work in because it's an assessment. Here at Learna, It's actually, you now have a poster where you can actually externally go and go to a conference and actually present that, or a narrated presentation. You can do something else with it. So what we're really keen to do is develop activities where you can go wider. It's not, you're not just doing it as an assessment method, you're doing it because actually you can use it out there in the world. If you design a blog about something, if you're that way inclined, you can use that on social media, for example. You can see if that makes you a key opinion leader. So that's kind of built into our programs from the very start. So, talked about our university, heard from our program director. I think for me now, what would be really, really helpful is to hear a little bit from our student support team. So for me, kind of once you've found the right program, what happens next? We've got an entire team and an entire department that is being developed just to support you in that. And they take you through the whole journey. They're absolutely phenomenal at doing this. And what we hear, and what we do here, the truth of the matter is, what we hear is when we go to graduation, it's them they want to speak to. It's not me. It's not our CEO. It's actually that team everyone wants to hear from, because they are the touch points that were most valuable and have stood out in people's minds. So I'd like to introduce to you Kath Scourfield, who is our head of customer care and communication, and Anna Boyser, who is our student support manager. And they'll kind of discuss the journey from application through to becoming a Learner student, and even further, if I'm really honest with you. We're going to do a little question and answer session with them, if that's okay. So initially, I'd like to ask Kath, if that's okay. If someone decides today that they want to study with Learna, Kath, what really does happen next?
Welcome, everyone. I just wanted to say hi. We really look forward to having you all join us in September. And Anish, to answer your question, once you've found a programme that takes your fancy and you're happy to apply, we've tried to make the application process as simple as we possibly can. So we ask for some information, a personal statement, which gives you opportunity to talk a little bit about yourself. We ask for a copy of your undergraduate degree. What we say as well is any certificate that you think is relevant, any degrees that you've got, please add them onto your application. The more information you can give us, the better. We ask for a little bit about your work experience. And we ask for some referee details. We always ask you to put details of 2 referees. We actually only need 1 back, but the more referees you put on there, the easier it will be to get a positive reference back for you. And then proof of English document. We've got a lot of documents that are accepted and a lot of exemptions. So if you've got any queries at all around any of your application process or documents that are required, you can reach out to our admissions team. You'll probably be speaking to them, if you haven't already, about any questions that you've got relative to your application. So yeah, once you've found a programme, go on your application, make sure you submit, and our admissions team try to get back to you within around 24 hours, so you don't have to wait long at all. And again, any questions whatsoever, please reach out. We will be able to answer any questions that you've got.
Super. That's really helpful, Kath. I mean, for me, in your experience, what's the kind of one of the biggest misconceptions that people might have around applying for postgraduate level study? And is there anything in particular that you really want the prospective students to know in this space?
The biggest thing, to be honest, is if you've got any questions whatsoever, please reach out to us. Some of our students go to apply, they have some questions, they're not sure if they qualify. We tend to get quite a lot of questions around proof of English, and if we only accept IELTS, we take a range of proof of English. And what we always say is any questions, or if anything is stopping you from moving on with your application, please reach out to us, because you'll be surprised actually by the amount of students that our department speaks to. That's whether it's our admissions department or student services department, that you weren't aware of before, which has actually stopped you from moving forward. So any questions whatsoever that you've got around your application, please get in contact with us. Our courses are designed, as Anish and everybody today has spoken to you about, they're designed for healthcare professionals. So we get a lot of questions around flexibility. I've got a full-time job, I've got a family to look after. Perfect. You're in exactly the same boat as all of our students. So there is absolutely nothing to worry about. You know, you're in the position where you don't need to be at a certain place at a certain time. These courses are designed to fit around your work and lifestyle balance. So we hope we've got everything right. And question-wise, please reach out if you've got any for us.
Yeah, thanks, Kath. I just kind of want to pick up on something actually you mentioned, which is really important. Guys, for me, you're applying for this program, for a program. And actually what Kath has highlighted there is you're not alone in applying for a program, and you're certainly not going to be alone in having professional and personal commitments. And so you're becoming part of a group that is going through exactly the same thing. And when I say group, let me expand. I mean the other students on that program. I mean the tutor that's going to facilitate your learning on that program. And I mean the other authority who's the program director, who's helped develop and design the program in the first place. So, you know, just to kind of make that point again that Kath made there is, you're in the same boat as everybody. Oh, and by the way, the internal Learna faculty who develops and designs the programs as well with the tutors and with the program directors. So, you know, Kath suggests this is not new for us. You know, you're of course it's an individual journey for you, and this might be the first one you're doing, but we're very focused in this space, and we've done this for a really long time. So, Kath, once someone has accepted their offer, what kind of happens before the program actually begins? Maybe kind of you can talk about what happens from an admissions perspective, and then how student support might be involved as well.
Well, firstly, some of you today have been accepted already. We can see on your application, so congratulations. We do look forward to welcoming you in September. And once you've received your acceptance letter, comes the time for you to pay your deposit. Once your deposit is paid, your place is guaranteed, and you will receive information. We call it Get Set for Success. So some of you may have received it already. And that's an excellent place for you to find out about our course format, find out about key dates. You'll get to meet the faculty. You'll get to hear from our alumni, some stories that they've got. It's a really good place to go and visit. We'll send you the link once you've paid your deposit and been accepted. And it's really good for you to just understand what happens next. So we've tried to think of everything, put all of the information in there that you possibly need just to get you ready and excited to start.
Super. Thank you so much. So just kind of moving, and guys, this is a transition. This is a journey through admissions and student support to get an idea. So we've heard from Kath as to kind of what happens up until a certain point. Just moving over to Anna now, if that's okay. So Anna, for you, starting study at postgraduate level can feel like a really big step, particularly for those who might not have done an academic qualification or a qualification at this level for quite some time. You know, the last one might have been several years ago, where they've had to reference, or they've had to do this, or they've had to do that. Just it'd be really helpful to know kind of how student support help learners settle in, particularly in the early stages, really, if that's okay.
Of course, Anish. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our open day. So first of all, we welcome each and every student to make them feel happy that they've joined the course. Then it's quite important for us to get them on the Moodle platform, how to navigate the learning platform, where to get resources, how to interact with their peers. And we also encourage them to take the first step by introducing themselves, tell the rest of the group a little bit about their clinical background and where they're coming from. And then we also provide a little bit of reassurance, guidance, information where needed, just to get everyone on the same page and make them feel welcome.
Yeah, thanks so much, Anna, for that. So for me, and I, you know, I've been involved in some of those conversations at some stage. And for me, you start by starting. And I think that's really, really important is on our programs, we often say, little but often. And that's the key thing. For me, just to kind of hone in on Anna's point there, it's really important that people make a start. It can actually be really, really daunting to start a program like this. But we've got people in place to facilitate it. And actually, we encourage people just to make that first step. So, Anna, for me, time and time again, and we hear it all the time at Learna, is, they worry about balancing study alongside work and personal commitments. Dr. Holt spoke about this kind of earlier on. But kind of what happens after students have sort of settled in?
Yeah, of course, that's a very important step of the progress. So when the students have been onboarded, they know exactly what they need to do. We've got 2 support teams behind them. First of all, we've got the student services team, which will always be there when they need assistance, send them proactive communications, keep them informed of everything that's quite important in their studies, offer information, and also there to iron out a little bit of uncertainties or when you're not sure about anything. And then we've got the student engagement team, which will definitely look after your well-being. They keep an eye on your progression, they keep an eye on your work that you submit, offer support where needed. And just collectively, the support team will make sure that most of your students, they get to the end line. We want every single student to succeed and eventually meet them at the graduation. So yeah, we've got a whole team backed up and ready to help our students through.
Yeah, thanks, Anna. And I hope, guys, what you're all hearing is there's 2 parts to this. There's the clinical education and the academic robustness of the program. But that, to be clear about this, super clear, that is one part of what we do. Because what you're now hearing is there is an incredible dedicated support structure in place, which is there and for predominantly there once you start to ensure you go the distance. And actually, if you think about the full circle of kind of where we started, was we want people to exceed, we want people to succeed, and it's only by you all getting to the end of a program that you're able to develop or to deliver the best health outcomes for your patients and their families, but also it's only by going the distance you're going to get that post-nominal, you're going to get that degree award. So it means everything to us from, number one, a mission statement perspective of improving global healthcare through medical education. So that's that's kind of why we want you to go to the distance from that side, but actually for career progression and for what it means for you guys. That's why we've got a student support team in place, because it means something to us, not just from the patient perspective, but for you guys too. So Kath and Anna, now I'd like to ask both of you, you both speak to prospective students every day. What's the question that you're asked most often that you might like to sort of bubble up? Kath, maybe from your perspective first.
Yeah, sure. I think from an admissions point of view, when we've got our students looking to apply on our website, trying to figure out the best course for them, the biggest question we get is, how am I going to manage this program on top of my busy life? Out of everything, that's the biggest question that we get. And I think as we touched base on it earlier on, you absolutely can. The courses are designed for healthcare professionals that have really busy working lives. So as Anish, you mentioned earlier in our graduation, it's one of those things that a lot of our students say, it was really difficult. It took a little bit of time to get into a bit of a routine and a bit of a pattern. Once I've got it, fantastic. It takes a little bit of time, but once you've got it, you'll see it through to the end. We will support you every step of the way. And at the end, you'll say, oh, it was one of the hardest things I've had to do, but one of the best things I've ever done. So we just want you to know that it can fit within your current work-life balance. If you're thinking about doing it, absolutely join us. It will be the best thing that you've ever done.
Yeah, thanks so much for that, Kath, and you know, just to add to that, we are an organization that continually, I mean, I talked to you about reflection being one of the assessment methods. We're an organization that continually reflects on what we do, why we do, how we do, what iterations we might be able to make to that process. And one of the things we have, and you're going to hear from the chair of that specific group within our organization in just a little while, is we have a student experience group. And I remember one of the things that we ended up doing is we put in various touch points in module 1. So you know, module 1 is when you first start, and it might be new for you. And so what we had decided to do was at various weeks we put in touch points. It was a Thursday or Friday, I can't remember the exact day, but to help people that if they had certain questions, they could come to us beforehand, and we would be actually online. And I know I say asynchronously, but we had in module 1 put some time aside at certain times of the day every week, every other week, to allow students to log in if they want to, or it was recorded, and we would answer any questions people had. So, you know, just to make the point of, we are an organization that continually reflects and puts things in when we know it will be helpful for our students. Kath, that was really helpful. Anna, from your own perspective, any specific questions that you get asked frequently?
Yes, 100%, Anish. I'm 100% aligned with Kath there. Students always ask, how would I possibly fit all of this studies in my busy work schedule already? It's about 10 hours of study a week, and I always say, you know what, book an appointment with yourself. Book this regular appointment like with your patients, and make it a study session. Every little and often, you will be surprised how much you can do in small slots. You don't need a big slot to sit down and do hours of study. Little and often is good enough. And if life gets in the way, we've got flexible options that can help you get through the difficult times, but definitely reach out to us early enough. Most of the time, we've got a solution in place for you.
Yeah, thanks. That's really helpful. And for me, I guess the sort of final question for you both, really, and I think we've covered it, but I think there's no harm in kind of going back to this, just to kind of reiterate any kind of closing remarks on this. Is there might be people watching today that think this sounds great. This is something that I need and something I want to do. I'm in, but I'm not sure it's right now. What advice would you give to them? Kath, any thoughts from your perspective?
I would say just do it. Just pluck up the courage, especially if you've been thinking about it for a while, or if you're a little unsure. Just do it. Reach out to us, apply, and honestly, as I mentioned earlier, it will be the best thing that you've ever done. Don't put it off. We'd love to welcome you in September. You've got an absolute wonderful team behind you. You'll have amazing colleagues in your WhatsApp groups as well. I don't think we've mentioned our WhatsApp community. You'll all be invited to attend with your peers. It's a really fantastic organisation that you'll be joining, and you'll be, you know, with students from all over the world. And as I said, it will be tricky when you first start, it will, but you'll get into a pattern and it will be absolutely fantastic. So my advice is, if you're thinking about it, join us in September. We'd love to have you.
Yeah, super. Thanks, Kath. Anna, any thoughts from yourself?
Well, the first step always takes the most courage, and yeah, it fly by very quickly. I mean, students join, they're not sure how they're going to compete, but when they see it's almost done, the program, so it really goes very quickly with the kind of support that we offer. And I think it's important for students to know that we've built in several safety nets into the academic process for our students, that they can progress successfully from induction all the way through to graduation. They just need to reach out to us. We are waiting to help them.
Super. Thanks very much, Kath and Anna. That was really, really helpful. And for me, just as a summary, hopefully that's kind of reassured you that we are all about ensuring that everyone goes the distance. So from when you're thinking of applying to going through the program, I think it's really helpful for you to understand the team that will facilitate your journey through that process. Just a reminder for you that I really do encourage you to continue to use the chat function, because it's that team, so it's the admissions and student support team that are available and answering your questions in real time. So please do continue to use the chat function. So let's take a summary, guys. Where have we been? We've told you about Learna. We've told you about the vast number of 55 programs that we now offer and growing. We've told you about our university partnerships, and so the organizations that actually award the degrees and the robust processes that we are actually held to from them in order to be in a, let me be honest, be in a really privileged position to be able to provide this learning opportunity and these degree awards to you. We've heard from Dr. Claire Holt, who is one of our program directors, to give you a glimpse of the types of subject matter experts that we have that are intrinsically linked to Learna and help us develop, conceptualize, develop, and deliver this education for a global audience of healthcare professionals. And then we've also heard from our student admissions as well as support team with the narrative of showing you, yes, it's about the clinical education we're giving you, and we're really proud of that, and we're really keen to develop education that's meaningful for you and your patients that you serve. But also, it is about you. It is about ensuring you go the distance. It's ensuring that you get to the end of that and you can hold that certificate at a graduation event in person with your peers to say, I've done this and I'm better off for it. And my patients are better off for it, so I'm clinically better off, but actually I'm personally better off too. And just to reiterate the one point that came out at the end of the last session is, guys, there's always a reason to go to 6 months later and a year later. Take it from me, when I've done postgraduate level study, there's no best time. The best time is now. And I'll tell you why. It's because you're interested. The motivation is there, and that is genuinely, that is half the step. Half the step is, okay, I'm going to do it. This sounds like something I need to do, I want to do, and therefore now is actually the right time because you're going to be invested in it. If you put it off for another 6 months, another year, it becomes that slightly more difficult. So there is no better time than now, is my point. We'll facilitate that learning for you. So for me, and if you are anything like me, what's really important is to see everything in action. For me, I can hear a million words, and until I see it right in front of my eyes, I don't quite get it. The penny doesn't drop. And so for me, I think it's really important that we show you the platform. And it is my absolute pleasure to introduce Andrew Stevens, who is the head of program management within our teaching and learning department. He is responsible for our student experience. He chairs our student experience groups. He also brings to light how we ensure that the tutors are of exceptional quality as they can be. And he's also responsible for Moodle, which is our platform. So Andrew is going to take you through and give you a live demonstration of the online learning platform that you will be enrolling to. So Drew, over to you.
Thank you very much, Anish, for that wonderful introduction. Wasn't expecting quite so many superlatives there, so thank you very much. Let's be honest, this is the part of the session that everyone is looking forward to the most, seeing what's actually going to happen on the platform when you will be using it. So I'm going to be sharing my screen today. I have the screen in front of me. So if I'm not looking directly at the camera, it's because I'm looking at what I'm doing on the screen. So please forgive me for that. And I'm going to quickly take you through some of the aspects that we have in Moodle. Obviously, there is an awful lot of stuff within Moodle, and I will not be able to show you everything in the 10 minutes that we have right now, but I'm going to cover off all of the main stuff for you. So when you start your course with us, this is the screen that you will see. It'll have a few more little bits on here than you're seeing right now, but for the purposes of the demo, this is the main parts for you. We have the module that you will currently be studying, and we have access to our library as well. Okay, so those two things are the things that you are going to be interacting with the most. On top of this, we will also have access to your induction and training. So like Kat was saying before, you do your Get Set for Success, and then the first week, you may have noticed on some of our advertising, the first week is our induction week. This is the week where we train you in how to use the platform. We'll look at some of that a little bit later too. But that's our whole week where we guide you through exactly what we expect of you, exactly how to get used to Moodle, exactly how to use everything. We also have something called the Learna seminars as well, which is a methodology that we use to really encourage you to make the most of your learning, where we teach you things about kind of AI and how best to use AI within your education. We teach you things about kind of emerging methodologies for learning, and we also teach you about some of the kind of upcoming new and exciting things within medicine as well. So those will be on your stuff. It's not on my screen currently, but what is on my screen currently right now is this medical education module 1. So this is a demo site. So this doesn't look exactly like it would look in real life, but it's mostly there. So let's click into it. Let's see what we've got. So on my screen, everything's going really slowly at the minute. I don't know if that's the same for everyone else, but here we go. Okay, sorry about that. So the first thing you can see is, hey, look, there's a whole bunch of information here, okay? So we've got the name of your course. We've got, hey, welcome to the practice of medical education. We've got access to your student handbook. And then we've got some information about the course here. We've got things like what your grade breakdown structure will be. This differs between USW and UOB, so there will be a different display depending on the university you go with. We've got your assessment breakdown, which tells you how each of the assessed components is weighted. A little help center where you can get to find out some information, and some student community stuff here. Student community is really important for us. And developing the community that we have is also incredibly important. And that is why we have developed some of the learning techniques and the teaching techniques that we have within the first component I'm going to take you through, which is the academic forum. As those eagle-eyed members of you could pull out, the academic forum is currently 40% of your grade. So this is the place where most of your learning will happen. So a module is 6 weeks long. And as you can see, there are 6 associated weeks within your academic forum, which means that you will be doing stuff every single week within your module, within this academic forum section. You can also see here, we've got some academic forum training for you. This is where we take you through exactly how to use the academic forum. So I'm going to click into week 1 right now. There is some information at the top that I'm going to come back to a little bit later, so we'll ignore that for a second. But you can see we've got a little introduction to the title of the week, and then we've got some recommended reading for you. And those of you who are intelligent would have already worked out that this week there may be 3 scenarios that you have to do. So what do those scenarios actually look like, and what is the work you will physically be doing? Well, what happens is your tutor will post a scenario for you. I'm going to go into this case scenario once to show you what that looks like. So your tutor says hi, and then she says, please read the introductory post. And then she gives you a scenario to think about. So some kind of positioning. Now, this is a medical education course. So this positioning is, hey, look, you've just been appointed the education lead for an established cardiology service. Other scenarios might be more clinically based if you are in a clinical program, or kind of maybe sports based if you're in a sports and exercise nutrition program, something like that. Okay, so they will be bespoke to the courses that you are doing. Once they've given them that scenario, then they ask between 2 and 5 questions, depending on the exact course that you're studying and the exact scenario that we're asking you. Okay, now that sounds like a lot, 5 questions. Don't worry, you do not have to answer all 5 of those questions, okay? So don't worry too much about the number of questions. What we expect you to do is actually just choose one of those questions and do a bit of a deep dive into that question. And this is where we get a little bit into our teaching and learning theory, because it's a little bit different to the way you might normally be taught. What we're doing for you is we're using 2 principles. One's called the community of practice, and the other is called flipped learning, okay? What we're doing is we're presenting you with a question that you may not have all of the answers for. We then encourage you to go away and to do some research around that, to read the most recent research papers. What is the theory telling us should be the correct answer? From there, we expect you to bring all that information back into the forum and to create your response. So here you can see the Amira has read the question. In this case, she's answering question 1. She's probably used the reading materials here and the reading materials we saw on the previous page as well. And then she's written her answer. And as you can see, it's quite short, 245 words. So 245 words is a nice, quick, precise answer. And she's got quite a good, well-reasoned answer here. And then underneath that, James has come in and said, well, that answer is great, but I've got some additional points that I want to make. And this develops your community, and it develops how you're specifically relating the questions to your practice. Okay? We are developing a rich, diverse method of learning with your peers. So you are encouraged to not just talk about kind of additions that you have, but also to maybe challenge some of your peers if you found contradictory evidence, to critique some of the sources that they've given you, to really work at that master's level where you will be going in, reading papers, finding out whether those papers are any good or not, and using those to develop arguments against or to support your peers. The tutor will also be in these forums as well, prompting with additional questions, challenging you when you maybe get something incorrect, and supporting your learning through that Socratic questioning method that a lot of you will be very used to. That, in its essence, is the academic forum. It's a little bit different to what you may be used to. It's not sitting down with lectures. It's not videos. It is a focus on you and the strengths that you can pull out of the reading materials. Your tutor is there to really challenge you in this. Your peers are there to really challenge you in this as well. And that should make you draw the most out of your learning. But we don't just rely on the academic forum. We also have some additional forms of assessment that we use that really support your learning as well. And the second one I want to talk about is the reflective journal. So the reflective journal is a way of recording your learning throughout the module. And what we expect you to do is write about 500 to 600 words throughout the entire 6 weeks. So that's not a lot of work. But what we want you to do is to reflect on your practice and how what you have learnt is contributing to your practice. So Anish was saying earlier about taking things into the surgery on a Monday. This method of assessment is about asking you, how did you use what you have learned in that surgery on that Monday? How are we making stuff directly relevant to the practice that you are doing right now? And that's the best way to kind of interact with the reflective journal. Your tutor will be within your reflective journal, giving you hints and tips and advice and feedback. But that is not the only way that you can interact with your tutor one-to-one. We also have up here a messaging service that you can use to write messages to your tutor if you feel as though you want to ask them a direct question. The other obvious place is within the academic forum, because that's where your tutor will be all the time. Okay, so really, your tutor is an integral part to your experience within this platform. Alongside that, then, we have methods of really challenging the subject knowledge that you are learning. And one of those methods is the modular activity. Modular activities come in a huge range of different tasks that we can give you. And this one is an essay, but we also have social media posts. We have poster presentations. We have everything else that you can possibly want to do. And every single module activity will be completely different. I'm not going to go into those in a huge amount of detail, but the other one I'm going to show you is the end of module exam. That is 30 MCQ questions, best of 5, and you have 1 hour to complete that. So that's another way that we really challenge your subject knowledge. And they're the 4 assessment points that you're going to come across very often. Now, how do we support you on this? So the main way we can do that is, hey, look, we know that you guys are going to be working on this course asynchronously. And so we have developed AI support programs that help to give you a little bit of feedback when your tutor isn't in the academic forum and able to do that for you. So we've got one for within the academic forum, we've got one for the modular activity, and we also have one for in the reflective journal as well. This enables you to really get good feedback and to really work through the course, getting as much improvement in your academic writing as is humanly possible. So that is my absolute whistle-stop tour of Moodle and how Moodle works. I'm sure you have a million questions on it, and I will be happy to answer as many of those as we can in the chat. But I am being shown the light to say that I need to stop now, so I'm going to stop presenting. So thank you all very much for listening.
Drew, thank you. That was really, really useful, because I think for people it's really helpful to see the actual platform. Guys, we're coming to the end of the session. I hope it's been really useful. I just want to very quickly mention, lots of people have been asking about the £500 tuition fee prize draw. Do remember that you've already attended this, so what you need to do now is complete the feedback form, and I think that's really important. And then to make you eligible for September, you need to pay a deposit by Wednesday, the 19th of August. And then we'll choose, we'll randomly select, should I say, the winner to be announced on Thursday, the 20th of August. So I hope that's really useful. But guys, this has been, I hope, we certainly enjoyed presenting to you. I really hope it's been really valuable. You've heard from our universities, you've heard from our program directors, you've heard why we do what we do. And I really hope it's been a really valuable session for you. And more than anything, if there's one takeaway I'd really hope for all of you, it's we know we need to study. We would love to be part of something that enables us to do better for our patients, but also helps in our progression. And actually, I'm hoping what you've really heard loudly and clearly is there's an opportunity here for me to continually learn, which I need to do anyway, to reflect, which I do anyway, to improve healthcare, not just for individual patients, but to help me develop processes and systems in place to help in my region and in my area. I'm getting a post-normal degree award for it. I'm going to be facilitated by an organization that want me to get to the end of it. For me, that's the thing I hope you've taken away the most. It's been really wonderful to have you online with us. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Anish Katecha, and I really hope to welcome you in September this year to Learna. Thank you so much.